Good morning and welcome to our live crafting session this morning. It is Monday the 6th of March. I nearly said May then. And my name is Jenny McCormack. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Good morning to you. If you're watching live, do say hi and let me know that you're here. It's always nice to know who's joined us. And if you're watching on replay, whether that's on YouTube or here on Facebook, if you have any queries or comments, then pop those in the comment section. I do look at them all. Occasionally one slips through the net. So if you need a reply, you can just tag me in the comment and I'll make sure, well, hopefully Facebook or YouTube make sure that I see it. So we are celebrating spring with our lovely Daffodil Daydream stamp set. So this one has been around for a little while. And we do have a new annual catalogue coming up. So there is a chance that this will be retired. I don't actually know. As demonstrators, we'll get to see the new catalogue at the end of March. And it goes live to customers on beginning of May. So I'll know then if this is retiring. But it's a really nice spring stamp set. Obviously you can use it for St. David's Day, Morning Carol, spring cards, Easter cards, spring birthday, any combination of that. It has a Mother's Day sentiment as well and Easter blessings. So you can see we have two main daffodil images, one larger one with 3 and a smaller one with a single daffodil. There's a cute little butterfly. There's a border here that you could use in any way on any cards, either on the inside or at the top and the bottom, or make a complete panel in different colours. And then we've got a really useful set of dots, nice fine little dots, with a little shape to them, so it's very good for just trying to tuck in or come in from an edge. Hi Kerry, good evening to you. Fingers crossed that your internet is holding up for you today. So this is our coffee and card design, so we'll be doing this afternoon and tomorrow morning. We did it on Friday and the ladies loved the design. So I've just chosen some pieces of spring papers. So we've got a bit of coral, mango melody, pale papaya, petal pink, nice combination. And this one I've chosen here is the granny apple green, and I'm going to use granny apple green for the colouring of my leaves to coordinate that together. So I've got a standard size card here from the UK, which is 14.85 by 10.5 centimetres. And then I've cut a layer of that granny apple green, which is 0.5 centimetre shorter. And then I've got a layer of basic white thin card that is 1 centimetre shorter, so it just gives me a larger border. And I'm sorry I haven't got my sample here, but we're going to use this trio punch that's got a really nice corner edge to it. So I'm going to just punch the edges first. Now if you do have a corner punch, I recommend you punch the edges first for 2 reasons. One is obviously it's going to bring down the size of your card. So if you had a large image, you don't want to be stamping right on the edge and then find it's been chopped off. And also just to make sure you've got it even before you start. There's nothing worse than doing a great piece of artwork and then miss punching with your punch. So this trio punch has 3 edges, as you would expect. It's got a line that goes across like that, just to cut it off. You've got a ribbon border, a ribbon hole, sorry, and then you've got this fancy border. So what I'm going to do is, you've got 3 different images, but when you use them, you want to press your hands in the centre. I see a lot of people try to do this on one side just to punch that. It's not designed to work like that. It's designed to punch the whole thing, because it's one piece of metal right the way through. So what I'm going to do is, so my piece of card that I've chosen to stamp on is actually the backing of a piece of card from designer paper. So I'm just going to cut another one. How funny was that? Right, let me grab this. There we go, that will do. So I'm swapping over because this is a slightly coated card, so I know that the ink isn't going to dry on there particularly well. And I don't really want that. So yes, that will work. Okay, so you want to slot this in until it's in this, in the 2 right in the corner. And I'm going to punch that one like so, and then I'm going to turn this to the opposite corner and punch again. Now this punch is quite unusual in that the design is not the same on both edges. So if I turn this round and punched it in here, I would get this at 90 degrees. So what I'm going to do is flip this over and punch that again. So can you see I've got a curve and a curve if I put it up against that? Whereas if I just turned it round, I would have got the opposite piece. So now I can do that one there. So the easiest way I recommend to do that is do the 2 opposite corners, turn it over and do the 2 opposite corners, rather than do one and then turn it and then you've forgotten which way round the next one's going to be, if that makes any sense. And it does make these cute little photo corners that you could use. If you punch that out of a gold or silver card, you've got some little photo corners. So I'm going to do the same on the paper, and one of the ladies at Coffee and Card on Friday did this, and I'd left mine originally just squared off, but it looked really nice with the 2 layers. And I'm sorry because I can't remember who it was that came up with that idea. It might have been Scylla, but I apologise. If it was you and you're watching, just let me know. Okay, so now we've got that fancy edge on there, and we've got that repeated on here, like that. So I do always recommend you punch your edges first when you're doing some decorative borders, and the same with die cutting. If you want to die cut a frame and things like that, do that first, and then you know exactly how much space you've got for your image. Okay, put those to one side, which might be dangerous. Okay, so I'm going to stamp in Early Espresso. No surprise there. Going to turn it on its side so it's horizontal, and you'll see me do that a lot, and that's because I have quite small hands. They might be chubby, but they're small, and so what you don't want to be doing is trying to hold a block, especially a large block like this, at an odd angle, because it's easy to drop it and it's not good for your wrists either. So if you turn it that way round, it's much more manageable. You could also do it on the Stamparatus if you were doing a lot of cards. If you wanted a whole set of Easter cards to give to somebody, for example, then you could do that on the Stamparatus. So just inking that up. And I'm putting this to one side because I want my sentiment on the right hand side. Hopefully I've got enough space for Easter blessings, and if not, it'll become a Mother's Day card or a birthday card. Okay, so there's our image on there, and yes, it would just about fit. And I just want to make sure that I've got that roughly straight. So I'm just going to use my grid paper and my block. Yep. So I'm just trying to decide where to put it. There we go. Easter blessings. And while I'm here, I'm going to stamp the envelope. And I'm just going to use this single daffodil for the envelope. And where you've got stamps that have got a narrow, particularly one narrow edge, it's always best to take the ink pad to the stamp so that you don't over ink it. So I hope everybody is well and had a good weekend. I had a very busy weekend. We had our team craft day on Sunday, which was all day crafting with like-minded friends. It was really nice. I really enjoyed it, and I think they did too. It does mean today I've got to spend the day putting everything away from my car, because I took nearly all of my inks, all my blends, pens. Obviously all the projects were pre-prepped, but all the components that are left over from those have got to go somewhere. Okay, so there's my envelope. So just going to do a little bit of colouring in with this. What I might do is add in some of these dots at the side, or I might just leave them out. They're really useful for covering up any blemishes, as you know. Right, just going to have a little sip of a cold drink. Right, so daffodils come in all sorts of colours. You've got yellows, you've got oranges. Somebody was telling me about a pink daffodil. So I'm just going to start with, I've got Daffodil Delight, which is very appropriate, and Mango Melody, and then Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to start with a bit indecisive this morning. Dark Mango Melody for the trumpet element of the daffodils here. Like so. That's that one. You can only see that little bit there. This one here. So I hope everybody had a nice weekend. We have a little bit of snow forecast this week. Whether that will come to fruition for us here, I don't know. Being in the sort of centre, we tend to not get too much snow, thank goodness. Right, and I've got Dark Daffodil Delight for this centre here of the leaves of the flowers or the petals I should say, like so. That's that one. So nice and easy to colour in, very therapeutic colouring in daffodils, so you don't have to think too hard about it. She says, you watch me make a mistake now, colour in a petal, the wrong colour. Okay. Right, so that's dark Daffodil Delight, this is light, so just blending that out. That. Like so. There we are. Okay. I think I've got all the petals. And then I've got light and dark granny apple green. So this is the dark one. So I'm just going to use this sort of down the left hand side of the stalks. And the leaves. There's that one there. And that one. There we go. So just to give it a little bit of light and shade, and then I've got the light granny apple, but you could use any green really. I mean, some daffodil leaves are quite dark, aren't they, so you could use a garden green or shaded spruce. Going to run a little bit of green over this because it is only a little bud. I think that's it. There we go. Okay, let me just bring that up. Hopefully you can see that okay. So that is going to go onto our granny apple green piece here, and then onto our card. So nice and straightforward, nothing too fiddly. It's Monday morning, as you know. It's my simple start on a Monday. Just going to do this daffodil here, and I'm just going to pop a piece of card in the envelope so the ink doesn't soak through to the back, especially if you've got a larger area. If you've got very light areas of ink, then it wouldn't matter, but when you're using alcohol markers, obviously it does it's designed to soak into the card. So there we go, that's that one, that one, then I'm just going to use Light Mango Melody and Daffodil Delight. So I'm not worrying too much about my shading or colouring on the envelope. But it is nice to decorate the envelopes and also the inside of the card. And there's that one, and then I've just got Light Daffodil Delight here as a contrast. So a really easy stamp set to use. As I say, it may not be around for much longer, but who knows? And it's one that I bring out every year, as you will notice. If you look, I bet if you look back at this time last year, I will have used this one. At least at Coffee and Card, if not online. Okay, so there's our envelope. Let's pop our card together, and I can see I've got a little mark here at the bottom, probably from my fingers, so I'm just going to add those dots in across here. And I've also got some ribbon that I could add a little bow, so let's pop those dots in. And I really want to use Daffodil Delight, but it's not here, it's in my car. So I will use Early Espresso, but stamp it off a few times. Like so. And then it'll give the impression of maybe a bit of soil. Not that they would necessarily stand like that in soil, but there you go. There we are. Okay, covers up my little blemish perfectly. Alright, so let's pop these layers together. I might just put a few dots on there. Go. So I've got our bottom layer here. So a scribble of glue all the way around, not too much, especially as it's paper. You don't want it buckling under the weight of the glue. Okay. There we are. And then this one I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. And then add a little bow to finish. And we're done. And just about spot on timing as well. I'm putting quite a lot on here because it's quite a big panel. Just taking those pieces off. So as soon as I've finished here, I'm going to have my cup of coffee and then finish unloading the car. And I'm going to use this. Now this is retired ribbon, it's Bumblebee, and it's a tiny little gingham pattern. And when I knew it was retiring, I love ginghams anyway, and yellow is one of my favourite colours. So I had to buy a few rolls of this. This may be my last roll, I'm not sure, but it's perfect for this. So just make it quite small, like that. Grab some scissors. And then a glue dot. And we're good to go. So with glue dots you want to decide which way round you want your bow to sit, and then push it onto the glue dot if you can. Try not to handle the glue dot, because if you handle it, the natural oils on your fingers will make it less sticky. Okay, and there we go, a sweet little Easter card, and I know just the person to send this to. There we go, there's our finished card. So I hope you like that. So we used the trio corner rounder, a corner punch for those decorative corners, and then I've stamped the 3 daffodils on the card, the single daffodil on the envelope, and then I used the dots to cover up a small blemish on the bottom. And there we go. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. This is our coffee and card design for this afternoon in Toaster and tomorrow in Brackley. So I hope you're able to join me if you're local at one of those. And I'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday, 7 p.m, with our stamp set of the week, which I haven't decided on yet. So that's my job for this afternoon, is come up with our stamp set of the week and also design our projects. So thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great day, morning, afternoon, evening. Kerry, I hope you've managed to stick with us on your internet, and I look forward to catching up with all of you really soon. Thank you once again. Bye for now.